Good morning, University of Hawaii. Good morning, Sac State. I am going to do a quick lesson. We did this in class, and I am recording it for you, for those of you that need to go a little bit slower. As a challenge, we are trying to pick up our speed with taking notes in class. We are trying to make sure that we are ready for seventh grade and ready for eighth grade and for the notes that are expected to be taken in those classes. So this is even going to go faster than I went in class because I don't want to have a long drawn out video. However, the beautiful thing about the video is you can pause whenever you would like. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to learn all about maps. Apologize for that. There are three types of maps. The first type is physical, the second is political, and the third is thematic. During class, we took the textbook and looked at each of these. So let's start with a physical map. A physical map shows the physical features of a place like bodies of waters and mountains. It is color-coded. Physical maps have some general color codes that go across the board. First is blue is water. Dark green indicates low level. Lighter green is a little bit higher elevation. Orange, it starts think of the rolling hills, and then brown goes into the higher mountain ranges. If you look at this physical map, you can easily see Rocky Mountains right where we are in California, Rocky Mountains. So translating those colors, you can go to some place you've never been, such as the area we've been studying in ancient civilizations, which is right in here, and you can see which ones have the lower elevations versus the higher mountain elevations. The next type of map is political. Political is drawn based on imaginary lines. This type of map shows imaginary boundaries like state and national borders. This is the map that a lot of times we're more familiar with. A political map might not show physical features like mountains and valleys and streams or rivers, but it usually includes important cities, like state and national capitals. This is an example of a political map. It's the 50 states along with Canada and Mexico. 48 of the 50 states along with Canada, Mexico, and some of the islands off of Florida. But you can see really easily, especially I call them flyover states, especially the flyover states, you can see how the boundary lines are really cut and dry. Next, we have thematic maps. Now, whenever you see a map in math or science, they're almost always thematic maps. A lot of times, we use thematic maps to talk about weather maps are thematic maps. Also, a lot of times in history, if they're talking about the economy, they'll do a map of what areas brought in what industries. So the word I see inside the word thematic is the word theme, and that's exactly what a thematic map is. It's a map that emphasizes a specific subject or theme. It can illustrate how areas are different from each other. It can be temperature, it can be rain. Another is how how many people live in one area versus another. Here's an example of a thematic map. These are the annual tornado reports. We did this one in class. So which state gets between 5 and 10 tornadoes per 10,000 square miles? And in class, everyone agreed that Texas and Florida were two of those states. Yes, you can see because of the dark red. And which state gets 0 to 1 tornado per 10,000 square miles? Us in California. So that's how that would be an example of a thematic map. Another thematic map is time zones. Important parts of a map. Now for this, you're writing this in your notes. This section will also help you with those questions that you have to do for homework. So our first important part is a scale. You have no idea how big or small something is if you do not know how what each inch represents. A map scale helps you determine distance between points on the map. Map scale is usually in both kilometers and miles. And of course, we use miles. The rest of the world uses kilometers. And now on this map, let's check it out. Where is the scale? So all you have to do is look for those little lines that tell you how far, a ½ inch or an inch. This one looks like it's measured in ½ inches. And it is right here. And it says that little mark is 100 miles right here. The next part is a legend. Another word for legend is key. A legend or a key explains what symbols on the map mean. So, for example, like I was talking about, I know in history class, some of our maps will show the agriculture that develops in different regions. Those little pictures of those plants, that's the key. It'll explain what is on the map. If I go back, can I go back? No, I'll just go ahead and go forward. So right here, this section right here is your legend or your key. Because when you first look at this, you think, oh, green, dark green, light green. Maybe this is elevation. Maybe this is a physical map. But if you see the legend, you can see that this actually is population per square mile. And the darker it is towards green, the smaller the population. The closer it is to red, the larger the population. The next word is orientation. And the definition of orientation is it lets you know which way is north, south, east, or west on a map. And something we knew in class already was compass rose. All you have to do is look for a compass rose to indicate the orientation by showing which direction is north, south, east, or west. That symbol is a compass rose. Again, I know I'm going really, really fast because you're supposed to pause this at any time and take as much time as you need to catch up and take your notes. So the final thing is latitude and longitude. Do you see the grid lines right here? These are lines of latitude and longitude. And I know in class I told you latitude, the way I remember latitude is laying down. Latitude are the horizontal lines. Longitude, oh, let me get all your notes up for you. Longitude are the vertical lines. The horizontal lines tell you how far north or south you are, kind of like levels in an elevator, remember we talked about? And the longitudinal lines tell you how far east or west you are, for example, on a number line. And latitude and longitude, we use this all the time, this idea of a grid. If you play Battleship, you use lines of latitude and longitude, but with letters and numbers. If you are working on coordinate plane and math, the y-axis is latitude, the x-axis is longitude. So this idea of this grid actually transfers over into a lot of different subjects and a lot of daily uses. Okay, I'm going to keep going because I'm trying to hurry. Oh, sorry. So they're used to mark the absolute location of something. So if you look at where your feet are right now, that is an absolute location. A general location is if I was going to say you were in Stockton. But I can take lines of latitude and longitude down to a decimal point to the 1/1,000,000th decimal point. And for example, hold on, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000th. This is to the 10,000th. And 38.8977 north by 77.0365 west is the actual latitude and longitudinal mark of the location of the White House. When you are using maps, just remember tadpoles, not these kind of tadpoles. I'm going to hit enter a bunch of times to get all of this up, and then I'm going to talk very, very quickly. But remember, if I'm going too fast for you, feel free to pause the video at any time. So T, title type. Look for the title and try to figure out what kind of type of map it is, physical, political, or thematic. A, ask yourself, what does the title tell you? And what do you already know? D, remember date and distance. We talked about this because especially with older maps, political maps change very often. So a lot of times if you need to pay attention to the date, especially in political maps, and the distance. Is this map showing a large area? Or is this just a map of your house? Or is this a map of the continent of North America? P is for place. Is the map showing the world, a continent, a state, a region? Same thing as distance. Distance. Hey, remember where to find distance? Yes, exactly. Scale. Then we have place. We have orientation. Which way is north, south, east, west? Is there a compass rose? Is there a legend or key? What does the legend show? Are there any symbols to tell me what's going on this map? Think equator, and that is the very center line of latitude, and that would be latitude and longitudinal lines. Might be able to help you find an absolute location of something. And S is scale. Is there a scale? How many miles does it measure? And does the map show a large area, which would be a very, very small scale, or a small area, which would be a larger scale? I hope this helps taking you through the slides and getting your notes taken care of so you can fill out the questions for the geography assignment. This is the